Hello and welcome to the second channel for Tales from the Trip. I'm your host, a Trip Keeper, and on today's video, we're going to be talking about a film that is very, very jarring, that has stuck with me, that makes me want to go see it again and again and again. And that movie is called The Substance. Now, it just came out, just got released here. I think it got released September 24th, if I'm not mistaken. That's what the guy at the pinball place told me, and I'll get into what he has to say about the movie. But no, I really, really fucking enjoyed this film. I've no, I can't say I've never, but I haven't had a theater experience like that in a while where I actually go to the movies and see something that good to where I want to see it again and again and again. It was amazing. The Substance was fucking awesome, dude. All the reviews that are coming back, I don't know, there if you check Google, it has like a 3.1 and it's either a 5 star or a 1 star. I have no idea how people, except unless you're like grossed out by stuff easily, it is not a bad movie whatsoever with everything that's involved. I'll get into it. I will do no spoilers, and if I do spoilers, I'll probably do it at the end. So in case you want to get this review out, and then people who have seen it can stay to the end and watch it. But if you haven't, I definitely recommend watching it and then coming back to this video. But you don't have to, because I think I will cover everything that I can to get you pumped up for this movie. And if it's near you, go fucking see it, dude. Go fucking see this movie. Me and Vivek both saw it. He saw it, in his lands in the UK. I saw it in my America. Of course, we don't live next to each other, but we both saw it the same night. Actually, it was funny. And oh, first off, before I even continue, people have been telling me to try Coors Banquet for a long time now. Ever since I've been talking about Miller High Life, which I have right here. Excuse me. Miller High Life. I've been drinking Miller High Lifes for the past how many months now, or maybe it's been like a year so far, like just nonstop, just nothing else besides that. But I finally tried Coors Banquet, and I can tell you wholeheartedly, it was pretty fucking good. It has a chance to be number two. It won't top Miller High Life for me, but it might be one of those beers that I will get. And if there's a Miller High Life at a bar, I might get a Coors Banquet from time to time. I thought it was a really good beer. I liked the design of the bottle. I knew they were like that and everything. I knew that it was going to be good because people recommended it. Although when people recommended Miller Genuine Draft, not a big fan of that one. I mean, it's okay, but it's not. I mean, it's better than Miller Lite. I really don't like Miller Lite. Now when I drink Miller Lite, it's like the worst thing ever. It tastes like shit. But Miller High Life is way different than that. So yeah, but Coors Banquet, pretty fucking good, guys. Pretty fucking good. Thank you for the recommendation. I've seen it. I probably had it before. I just can't remember. I know my mom would buy them. I bought her one at the pinball place, and I got two of them all playing pinball. But anyways, let's get into this review. As I don't know how many people are actually in here that are not familiar with my channel. If you're not familiar with it, I do these kind of ramble videos, do a lot of talk about drug experiences, trip reports, and just random stuff. It could be anything. Do I have autism? That could be one video. That I've done two videos on that, actually. So it could be really anything. This is my, if you want to go check out my main channel, it's called Tales from the Trip. I read trip reports, horror trip reports exclusively. So go check that out if you're interested in that. But anyways, let's get into this, because this movie, The Substance, what better way to cover it than, I'm doing it on this channel because of substances. This is a substance in the movie. It's basically, without spoiling anything, I mean, it's in the plot really. So it's a drug that separates cells and, or not separates cells, contorts them. I don't know, whatever. It just mixes DNA, cells, whatever. And it comes in a little vial, and you get a needle, you get a stabilizer, you get an activator. The activator is what activates the transformation into this new young Demi Moore type figure. Not Demi Moore herself, or is it Demi? People call her Demi. I've been calling her Demi Moore this whole time, so I'm gonna continue calling her that. So if I'm If Demi Moore's watching this video, I'm sorry if I say your name like that. If it's not right, I don't know. But I just like saying Demi better. But she's beautiful. Demi Moore is beautiful. She's 61 years old. She plays a 50-year-old in this movie, and she's 61. I had no idea she was 61. I was like, she's probably in her early 50s, because I knew she was in like a huge star back in the day, so I knew she was at least in her 50s. But she doesn't look like it. I mean, she could pass for in her 40s right now. Maybe, okay, maybe not late 30s, but at least in the 40s. She has been aging very well, and it's crazy how this movie, how she is starring in it, because it's kind of like almost. I wrote a letterbox review. I said it's the biopic of Demi Moore, because like she hasn't been in a lot of stuff recently that I know of, and if it is, it's not big, but she was a huge star. Like all. If you have boomer or Gen X parents or whatever generation is in the late 60s, early 70s, if you have parents from them, they all know who Demi Moore is. They all talk about her. They all know she's beautiful, and she still is. She's a beautiful fucking woman with the beautiful black hair and just an amazing smile, and just she's amazing. One of the best looking actresses ever, in my opinion. But so the fact that she was in this movie is just crazy, because it's just like it's kind of like breaking the fourth wall a little bit, with her life maybe, and wanting to be that young star again. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she's accepted, that she's 61 years old, and she's like, I can't do this forever. I am actually getting to an age where people should be looking like, getting gray hair and stuff, and all this bullshit. But I mean, you get gray hairs earlier than that, but no, it's just crazy that she's in it. But anyways, I've seen this movie twice. I also wrote down notes here, so I don't just keep on fucking trying to think of what to say. I can actually go off of some topic. I've seen it twice. I've seen this movie twice. I saw it last night, and I saw it today at 4 o'clock. I saw it yesterday with my good friend, and then today I saw it with my mother, and I told her, I asked her if she wanted to see this movie, and she wasn't really interested at first. She was like, I don't really feel like going to a movie theater. But I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go by myself and see it, because I didn't really mind going by myself, because that's a movie I can just enjoy just by myself anyway. I'd put it on, and once it comes on streaming or buying on DVD, I'm definitely going to get it. I'm definitely going to watch it again. I think I'll probably be done with theaters for it. I think 2 times is probably enough for me. But yeah, no, I asked my mom, and she agreed to it then. And I told her, if you're not into needles and gory stuff, maybe you shouldn't come with me. But she just like said, all right, I guess I can do it. And she really cannot stand when people throw up in movies, and there's a lot of throwing up scenes in this movie. There's like at least 5 of them. Just gratuitous, gross throw up. Now it doesn't bother me. I'm fine. I'm fine by body horror. I'm fine by gore. Like Terrifier 2 scene with the bedroom scene where he kills that one girl, brings out the bleach and the salt. Like I can handle that. It's definitely fucked up for sure, but I can handle it since I've seen so much fucked up shit on the internet and just a bunch of gory movies before that. Like I can handle it. There was not really any scenes in here. There's one that made me cringe a little bit, but I could see why people would be throwing up in this movie theater and wanting to just vomit and leave, because there are a lot of scenes in this movie that will do that. And my mom had to look away from the throwing up scenes. Like I told her, like when one was coming up, I'm like, okay, you might want to not look at this, because there's going to be throwing up. But yeah, so anyway, she went with me, and we went to this pinball place that's right next to the movie theater. It's called Capitol Theater. It's in the western side of Cleveland, and there's a whole nice area. It's called the Gordon Square District, I believe. Let me go check it up. Gordon Square. Yeah, Gordon Square Arts District. It has this beautiful donut place called Brew Nuts, where I got a donut today. Actually, after the movie, I got a glazed donut, a fucking amazing donuts. They're bigger donuts. They're $3, but they're totally worth it. And then there's the pinball place like I was talking about, and then there's Capitol Theater, and then there's a bunch of restaurants around there and a bunch of artsy stuff. It's a really beautiful area. It was popping today for sure. It was a Friday. I kept on thinking today was Thursday, but no, it was a Friday. And before we went to the movies, we went to the pinball place because I love playing pinball there. I love playing pinball. Pinball is so much fun. And actually, the guy that was bartending slash running the store at that point, running the arcade, I started talking to him. I said, "Could I get another Coors banquet, please?" I already had one at that point. And then I said, "I'm just waiting to go see a movie today." And he's like, "Oh, what are you seeing?" I'm like, "Oh, The Substance." He's like, "Oh man, you're in for a wild ride." I'm like, "Dude, I know. I already saw it last night, man." And then we started talking about the movie and how great it was. And then he pulled up the soundtrack on Spotify, which I had no idea was already on Spotify. So I've been listening. While I was writing this review, I was just listening to the score the whole time. I'm going to get into why the score. I wrote down the score is just amazing. But yeah, he put it on in the pinball place. He put on the main theme. It's just so good, so good. But we were like fanboying over it. He was a really really cool guy, and he said he saw it 4 times, and me talking about it with him maybe made him want to see it again. So I think he might have seen it again, if I'm not mistaken. He sounded like he wanted to go see it again, and also. Since the substance is the color, I mean, this is not a spoiler or anything. It's a neon green type color. And he tried to make a drink with it. He used like lemon juice, pineapple juice, and fucking some other thing, some blue thing. Trying to mix blue and yellow together. It kind of made like a darker green, so it didn't come out right. But he let me have some for free. He gave me a whole glass fill. I was like, fuck yeah, I'll take that shit. It was pretty fucking good. It was a little salty, a little lemon, like too much tartness to it, but I'm not going to complain over a free drink. I mean, it was experimental, and we tried to make the substance. So that would have been such a cool menu item to get on there. Like, that was just so cool to have that talk about with him, because I could talk about this movie for probably hours now. And then next time me and Vivek do a podcast, we're for sure going to talk about it back and forth. So yeah, but I just wanted to do this because it's clear on my mind. It's late at night. I'm not ready to go to sleep yet. I want to drink a couple Miller High Lifes and have a good fucking time. But yeah, we went to the movie. Started at 4 o'clock. Well, actually, before I continue, my record for most times watching a movie in theaters was The Favorite by Yorgos Lanthimos. I saw that in theaters 6 times. So, yeah, that's crazy. This tied with Ghost Rider. When Ghost Rider came out, I was like 6 or 7 years old. I saw that twice. I've seen a couple. I can't remember what other movies I've seen twice, but I've seen Coraline twice in theaters now when it released, and then when it re-released recently. That was pretty fucking cool in 3D. I watched it both in 2D and in 3D. So yeah, I watched Coraline twice in theaters. That was pretty cool. But anyways, let's get into the movie itself instead of the preparations, the pre-gaming and shit. What I liked about it, it was not subtle in any way about its themes about aging and obsession with beauty. Now, Demi Moore plays a character who is obsessed with her looking good. She wants to look good forever because her boss, Dennis Quaid, Harvey, quote unquote Harvey, that's his name in the movie. You know who that's referencing, right? I mean, come on. He's a big movie. He's a producer. He's really evil towards women. He's probably done a lot of bad shit fucking behind the scenes. It's Harvey Weinstein, man. It's like they have no subtleties in this. They like you if you don't pick up on anything in this movie, then you would be a fucking dumbass, because it's just in your face. But it's not. It's kind of charming to a point, because it's not like, some things they like. I hate when exposition is told to me from, like, if there's a sequel and someone and like the character like brings up a recap of like what happened in the first movie, and just like one dialogue scene just to refresh the audience's minds on the movie, like they haven't fucking seen the original in the first fucking place. Like, how stupid do these companies think we are? I mean, there's definitely some stupid fucking people out there, but would you rather have a dumb exposition plot and ruin it for actual pure Kino people versus catering to the stupid fucking people of America, the like the limited amount of people. Like I'm definitely sure most people can pick up on shit if you tell it. So that's what I hate about exposition dumps. Like those are the worst fucking things. But compared to the subtlety in this, it is not subtle whatsoever in its approach. But that's the point. That is the point of this movie. Like it's not holding back on anything. Everything is so over the top. Dennis Quaid's performance is so over the fucking top. Whenever he's in a scene, I just had my eyes glued to the screen. My eyes were glued to the screen the whole fucking time. I mean, there was no scene where I want to I don't want to miss anything. Like the thing was, I missed part of a scene in the first viewing because I had to go to the bathroom so fucking bad, and I ran to the bathroom. I try to go as fast as I can, but there was so much coming out. I was like, you motherfucker. I was yelling at my penis. I'm like, fuck you. I'm flicking off my penis. I'm like, come on, let's go already, you son of a bitch. And it was going really fast. I just had a lot of liquids inside of me, I guess. But then I came back, and my friend said I didn't miss anything, but when I saw it in the theaters a second time, it was a scene that I was sad that I missed. I mean, there's no scene in the movie that I wanted to miss. So I guess that wasn't the worst scene to miss, but it was still a really a scene that I really wanted to see. So I'm glad I got to see it today because once I had to go pee. I had to go to the bathroom. I could have went at any time because I remembered the whole movie. As long as I didn't go at the same time as before. But I held it in this whole time. I didn't have to go until an hour and a half in. So, that's another 50 minutes left because the movie's 2 hours and 21 minutes long, with the credits involved, I guess. I don't know. Or is it not? But, it doesn't feel like it. I'll get into that as well. But yeah, the subtlety, not subtle at all. Satirical, heavily satirical, over exaggerated fucking madness. Nothing is hidden in this shit. Nothing is fucking hidden. And it made me think of old Hollywood actors whose faces are completely botched due to plastic surgery. Demi Moore, you could clearly tell she's probably had some plastic surgery, but it doesn't look bad. There's some actresses and actors who have had terrible plastic surgery. Oh my God, why would you do that to yourself? And I think those were a lot of themes that they were presenting, were like that, because there's a lot of actresses that, in their 80s and 90s who are still alive, who went through many plastic surgeries, who think they're still in their 20s. It's just the part of life, man. You have to grow into your own body. You have to live with what you were given, inside. That's what you have to do. You have to just deal with what you were given. And sometimes you get fucked over. Sometimes people get really fucked over in life and there's really nothing they can do. But these Hollywood actors and actresses, they have millions of dollars. They can get these plastic surgeries. They can get these breast implants, they can get butt implants, they can get Botox, they can get liposuction, they can get fucking, I don't even know what else they can get. They can get blood baths, I don't even know, man. People bathe in blood. But you get what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of procedures out there that people can get that the normal average American cannot afford, but these celebrities can, and they end up looking like shit later on. And that's what happens in The Substance. It starts off as such a compelling opportunity for this aging actress, Demi Moore. Elizabeth Sparkle is her name in the show or in the movie. And she just wants to be young again. She wants to live because she got dismissed from her job because she's too old. And she's not too old, but the industry thinks she is too old and she can't. Even though she looked stunning in the fucking movie. I would not take my eyes off the screen if she was teaching a workout class. I'm still going to be like, all right, 61 years old, Demi Moore. Hell yeah, let me fucking watch this shit, man. I want to see how beautiful she is because she's still got that beauty. But yeah, no, these actresses and actors, they want to be young forever. And it's just not possible. But with this substance, there's an opportunity. You can become young again, and you can be a different part of yourself, but you are still the same. Demi Moore does not stay herself. She becomes a new person. a new young person that's not Demi Moore. But basically, what the whole premise of the substance is that you got to have the activator, which you inject, and it that's what sets everything up to create that new person that you are going to be, that you're going to be part of, that you're going to share a consciousness with. And then you got the stabilizer, which you need to inject into yourself once a day, and you get that from the spinal fluid from the Matrix, which is the original body, which is Demi Moore. And Margaret Qualley, she plays Sue. She gave herself that name. She's the brand new Elizabeth Sparkle. She's the young, sexy one, nice body, nice physique. Her butt is really nice. They focus a lot on the body. Like there's a lot of like she would be touching herself all the time, not in her vagina or anything, but she would like be feeling up, her thighs, her butt, her stomach, her boobs. Like there would be so many shots of that in the movie. And it's kind of awkward sitting in the movie theater with my mom watching that, but I'm like, I just didn't even look at her. I didn't say a word. I'm just like, fuck it. I'm just going to have to sit through this, even though it's embarrassing. I knew I was going to feel like that. I knew that. I just wanted my mom to see how fucked up this movie was. I wanted her to experience it because I just wanted her to see her reaction to it. And I asked her if she liked it. She said, I guess. So that's better than I thought she was going to say. Because in the whole movie, she was like, oh my God. Like, she was like, why did you take me to this movie? It's definitely not for everybody. It's definitely not for anybody. Or yeah, definitely. I said it right the first time. It's definitely not for everybody. It's definitely not for everybody. But yeah, the Demi Moore, she did such a good job in this movie. I would not be surprised if she's nominated for an Oscar. I thought she was just amazing. She did a wonderful job. I thought Margaret Qualley did a wonderful job. I thought everybody did a wonderful job in this movie. But Demi Moore especially, like she pulled off a performance, man. I don't think I've ever seen any movies with her. Probably when I was a kid or something I don't remember that she was in, and I can't like think right now. But this is probably one of her most profound acting jobs. Definitely, it's probably up there for people for sure. If I have to see her other movies, I'll have to compare it. But like, I don't know. It would be hard to top this fucking shit that she did in this movie. Like she, I think, the audience that they were trying to freak out, like if I was in my mom's shoes, because she's like 58 now, I would probably be horrified by this movie because she's probably in the same boat. Like, yeah, she knows she's not going to be in her 20s anymore, and she wants to look young still. Well, my mom actually looks really good for her age, so I'm not saying that, but like she, just the fact that she's 58, it's looming over you that 12 years from now you're going to be 70 years old. Like that, you got to be thinking about that pretty often. It's just only going faster as you get up. Like I'm 25 now, and I remember when I turned 21 and I was at the post office and I was like, damn. And that was like fucking 4 years ago already, dude. Like time is moving so fast. My birthday was already like almost a half a year ago. So that's fucking crazy. But yeah, it's wild how fast time passes. But you just gotta live your life to the fullest, I guess. You can't, if the opportunities come, don't ever knock them over. Don't ever knock them down. You got to take these opportunities. But the opportunity with the substance, maybe you didn't want to take that. Maybe that was a bad idea. Maybe Demi Moore would have been better off just being Elizabeth Sparkle, and living her life as a retired workout person or whatever the fuck she was doing, a trainer. I don't know what the hell it was, but it was like a dance class. I have no idea. It was some workout class. It was like hip hop abs or some shit. She would be running that, and then Sue, the new version of her, she would be doing the same thing, but she got way more popular. But Demi Moore, she still looked beautiful in the movie no matter what. And my mom actually thought Demi Moore was more pretty than Margaret Qualley, while my friend thought Margaret Qualley was more pretty than Demi Moore. For me, I think Demi Moore definitely looked better, but Margaret Qualley's body was definitely better for sure because it was she's, how old is she? Margaret Qualley. I wouldn't be surprised if she was British. Oh, it says American actress. Okay, she's 29 years old. So yeah, she's got that young body still, and she looks still younger than 29. She looks like she's like 20. She looks like she's my age, pretty much. No, she looks 29 actually, but she could pass for like 25. But yeah, no, she's got everything that Elizabeth Sparkle wants again, and she gets to kind of live in in this body, even though she's not her technically. She is one. Like they have this message that goes across. They keep on saying it in the background, and the narrator for the substance. They would always talk on the phone with them when there was a problem or whatever the fuck to try to find out what to do. And he would always repeat at the end of the phone calls. He'd be like, "You remember, you are one," and that's what people had to remember. And it just got out of hand. It got really fucking out of hand after like after the first switch. It just goes completely downhill after that for Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley. I keep on flip flopping. Like I'm calling them by their actress name and then their the name in the movie. But don't mind that. I'm just trying to get the point across really here. But yeah, also Dennis Quaid. Yeah, no, no subtlety about him and his performance as Harvey Weinstein. I mean, it was just all there. It was in your face. There's a scene in the beginning where he's eating shrimp and or crawfish, whatever the fuck it was, and he was just dipping it in this sauce. And he was just like, I got sauce all over his fingers, and he was putting it in his mouth, and it was all disgusting. It was all close up, and then the phone starts ringing, or he picks up his phone, and he sees a guy at the restaurant, and he picks it up with his greasy, saucy hands, and it's just so disgusting, and his teeth are all brown, like, oh man, it's just disgusting what we see and what he's doing. But it's so over the top, dude. It is literally so over the top. He is a fucking crazy madman producer, and that's what Harvey Weinstein was, man. That's what Harvey Weinstein was. Like, why be less subtle when you could be more subtle? Because we already know what happened with Harvey Weinstein and all of his, stuff that came out up against him, and all the horrifying things that he's done. So why be subtle about it in the movie that's already over the top when in real life there is nothing subtle about it? That's why that's what I was getting from this movie. That's what I was getting, and it's in your face, but it's not what's the saying? It's not like fucking when people stay for too long at your house or something, whatever the fuck that was called. It's blanking off the top of my head, but when people just stay for too long, you're not just get out. It's fine, but like these people are like the subtlety is compared to the like people you actually want to be in your house, compared to people that are like, oh God, they're coming over. Oh boy. Don't overstay your welcome. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. That's so stupid. Why I couldn't do that. I should delete that and go back and fix it, but I'm not going to because this is a ramble channel. But let's see here. What's next? Okay, so we got extreme body horror. Very extreme. I haven't seen body horror like this in a while. Like, I love body horror. I love The Thing. I love The Fly. I love David Cronenberg's movies. I love all these movies that use practical effects to amazement, and just such good effects in this movie. But the body horror was insane. Like when it kind of reminded me of Alien a little bit. When the new Demi Moore comes out, when the Margaret Qualley comes out of her, she comes out of her back basically. If you look at the poster, you see that this Demi Moore is stitched up in her back. So that's how this new fucking being comes out of you. It comes out of her back, her spine, and then this new person comes out, and it's just like so crazy. And she has to stitch it up when she has all the tools there. They gave her everything. She has to stitch it up herself, and then get the spinal fluid for the stabilizer, and she has to do that once a day. So, and the thing is, they only have 7 days before they have to switch. And if you go over that 7 days, the Matrix body, your original Demi Moore body, is going to have some bad deformities coming her way. So, there was a scene where she was late. Margaret Qualley was late by like an hour or two, and Demi Moore's finger was all messed up and old and wrinkly and just witchy looking, you know, and she was trying to scrub it off and wash it off, but nothing was working. Because it was set in stone. You can't go back. Like, they made it, the substance people made it very clear that if you go over those 7 days, there's no going back. You're gonna be stuck like that forever if you fucking mess up. And it was all because she was trying to have sex and she's living in this new world, which I don't blame her, because she's having a great time. Why would you want to go back into your old suffering body that you think you have? Not everyone. Like, a lot of people think you're still beautiful, but like what you think, why would you want to go back to that when you're in this new life and your old producer has fallen in love with you again and has given you all the rights to everything, and they've allowed you to take a full week off just because she was so fucking beautiful, this Margaret Qualley girl, Sue. But yeah, and then there's other scenes like a nail being flipped over, like a fingernail, teeth being pulled out. Then there's a scene where Demi Moore is trying to like fix her knee, and you can hear the cracking, like trying to move it so she can walk. And that's just the way they look. And then the fucking final 20 minutes of the movie is just flat out insanity. You see just the wildest shit you'll ever see in a theater in recent times, man. I'm not gonna spoil any endings, but it gets wild at the end there. It gets very wild, and there's just so much body horror. It's all done very well, and yeah. Another thing that I wrote down or typed, it's exceptionally shot and directed. Coralie Fargier or Fargion, oui, oui. She's French. She directed this movie. She also directed a movie called Revenge, which I want to see now because it looks like it's a pretty fucking cool movie. And then the cinematography, of course, by Benjamin Cracoon, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right either, but forgive me. But the Benjamin cinematographer and Coralie director, they both did an amazing job. It's very well shot. Like, every shot had a purpose, and like there's so many scenes in this movie where it was just like, yes, that needed to be there at that exact moment. So that was pretty, like, they did a very wonderful job. And speaking of back to the body horror, the practical and digital effects were just fucking awesome. Like the new monsters that were coming out, Demi Moore's when she's just becoming worse and worse over time, and just seeing all these horrifying effects that's having on her body, and then the final amalgamation of what the monster has become is just an insane. It's just an insane look, dude. That final fucking monster, dude. You cannot get that like in a movie anywhere besides, like, I mean, there's movies out there that are similar to it, similar to something like that happening, but you won't see that now, and like you don't see that too often is what I'm trying to say. You don't see something like that happening. It's just really really crazy. Yeah, the effects were just fucking awesome. I loved the blood, the fucking just the goriness, the substance even, it was beautiful. It was beautiful for horror fans, for body horror fans. If you're a body horror fan and you haven't seen this movie yet, you are literally gonna fucking love this movie so much, dude. And if you don't, that would be very strange for me, and I don't even know if I could trust you after that. And another thing in this movie is that they had lots of Stanley Kubrick references, especially The Shining. So basically, the studio that they filmed at, to get into the studio from, when you actually walk inside and then you go to the actual studio that's inside to film, there's a hallway, and the carpeting looked almost exactly like the carpeting from the Overlook Hotel in The Shining, and they jump on that reference at the end with the blood coming out, and just it like how the blood comes out of the elevator in The Shining. It looked exactly like that in the hallway, like when the blood was coming out and everything. There's so much blood. It just reminded me so much of The Shining there. You could tell there's a lot of, this woman loves Stanley Kubrick. And also 2001: A Space Odyssey. It really, not only did they play the song they use for the what's that song called? 2001: A Space Odyssey ending song. Sprach Zarathustra. That's the song. Dun, 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 dun. Boom, 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 boom. Dun, 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 dun. You know that song they used in 2001: A Space Odyssey. They've used it in other things now, and they used it in this movie as well. But I think there's a lot of 2001: A Space Odyssey in this because, spoiler alert for 2001: A Space Odyssey, the guy becomes a big ass baby creature thing in space, and that song is playing. And I feel like that new baby that came out is the Margaret Qualley's character Sue, comes out of Demi Moore. I feel like that was a reference to the 2001: A Space Odyssey and also Alien because of the chestburster scenes and the whatever the fuck how aliens come out and become how they become xenomorphs and stuff. So I thought that was a really cool reference. And another thing, it wasn't subtle about it at all. It was like in your face. It was like, look at this. We're referencing The Shining. We're referencing 2001: A Space Odyssey. There's other movies they referenced. There's the one that I haven't seen anyone talk about yet, except the guy that I was talking to at the pinball parlor. I told him, I'm like, dude, this movie reminds me of this movie a lot. But I'll get to that coming up here soon. But as I was talking about before, the soundtrack was fucking awesome, especially the main score. I was listening to that shit for so much while I was writing this review here because I didn't get a chance to listen to it except when I was in the movie and when the guy played at the pinball parlor. But I finally put it on just an hour or so ago, maybe less than that, maybe 45 minutes ago, and I had that playing constantly. It was like 2.5 minutes, so it probably played like 10 different times. I just had it keep on going on, and then when I finish this, I'll probably be playing it again and again and again and again and again because it's such an iconic song. And the guy only has his name is Rafferty. I followed him on Instagram. I messaged him. I told him how amazing I thought he did on the fucking score. Let me see here. Yeah, I said, you did such an amazing job on the soundtrack, one of my most favorites ever. And he only has 1.7 thousand followers on Instagram. So, he's not like I would have thought whoever did this soundtrack was someone who was big. But no, he's not. So this is definitely going to catapult him into, maybe making more soundtracks for more horror movies because he did a good job with this. If you I recommend just go listening to at least the main score right now. There's other songs on the soundtrack that are really good, but the main score is the best thing I've heard in a while. That is one of the best main themes I have heard for a modern film in a very, very long time. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was perfect. Yeah, okay, so Letterboxd just posted the official top 25 horror films of 2024, and they put The Substance at number 1, which I would agree with. I haven't seen any other movie in this list except Alien Romulus, which was, just iffy for me. It was like a 2.5 out of 5. But yeah, The Substance definitely deserves number 1 as the number 1 most popular film on IMDb right now. It beat Joker, dude. Joker's at like 6. I am not gonna see the Joker. With the Joker, I was never excited to see it. I did not care for the first one. Like I thought it was a good movie. I thought Joaquin Phoenix did a good job. Did he deserve the Oscar? Probably. Whatever the fuck. But he needed to get one because he never got one before. Like I thought, when he played Johnny Cash, I thought he did an amazing job as Johnny Cash. Like one of the best, biopic performances ever. But I didn't really care for the movie. I never want to watch it again because I don't find it, amusing to me. Like it's okay. Like it's a movie. If I saw it in theaters again, I would have to see it in theaters for me to want to see it again. But then I didn't really care about the second one. But my friend is a really big fan of the Joker, and I can see why people are big fans of the Joker. Like, don't get me wrong, I can see why. But it just for me personally, I do not like the Joker. But he was excited to see it, and he actually was excited when he found out it was a musical. I'm like, I don't know, that kind of sounds like that would make it worse. And there's so many fucking bad reviews about it. And when I saw these bad reviews yesterday, I was kind of getting excited for the movie. I was kind of getting excited because I wanted to see how bad it was. But now, like, now that just more and more bad shit is coming out about it, like, I don't even know if I'd have a good time watching a bad movie. Like, because I don't think it would be amazingly bad. Because I like to see movies that are like, fucking, if they're terrible, I want them to be funny at least for how bad they are. But the Joker sounds like it's just straight up horrible. So yeah, it has a 33% at Rotten Tomatoes. It keeps going down. I was at 39% this morning, 5.4 out of 10 on IMDb. Yeah, no, it's crazy. Yeah, there's still a popularity number 6. So let's see the substance, what it has on IMDb. I think it has a 7.9. Yeah, it hasn't changed yet. It needs to get up to an 8, dude. But my next thing I wanted to talk about was Adam from YMS. He gave it a 9 out of 10, which if you guys know YMS, Adam from YMS, like, he doesn't hand out 9 out of 10s very often. He's not a 9 out of 10 person. He's like, if he sees a movie that's good, he gives it a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10 maybe. But he thought it was phenomenal and gave it a 9 out of 10. Just so you know, he gave Parasite a 9 out of 10. He gave The Lighthouse a 10 out of 10. So those are the kind of movies that he thinks are good. And Synecdoche, New York, that's another 10 out of 10, which I recommend watching. But if you're depressed, I wouldn't want to watch it. Not a good idea to watch if you're depressed. But if you don't care, then go watch it. But yeah, he gave it. When a movie is good and Adam likes it as well, like a movie I think is good, that just makes me feel so good inside, because he's just like, he is so technical about everything, but he can be such a funny fucking dude, and he's just so upfront about why movies suck. That's literally his movie title. Like, his channel is called Your Movie Sucks, because most of the movies do suck, but then there's some good ones that come out and it shocks him, and it makes him feel good. It makes him, you don't want to watch bad movies all the time, but he gave it a 9 out of 10. And so if my review hasn't been good enough for you to want to see it, him giving it a 9 out of 10 should be. Like, if I was listening to the podcast before I saw it, that he's on the Sardoni cast, I would have definitely been more excited for it. I didn't even know this movie existed till 2 days ago, dude. I was just like, or yesterday. I didn't even know this movie existed till yesterday. Because I saw it, but Vivek was the one who was telling me about it. He told me he's going to go see it. And I was like, okay, well, that seems pretty interesting. So I looked it up, and I'm like, oh shit, well, this actually looks pretty fucking good. A body horror film, a horror sci-fi film. I like that. So, I'm glad Vivek told me about it, or else maybe I wouldn't have seen it. But yeah, YMS gave a 9 out of 10. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10, dude. I'm giving it a fucking 10. I'm going all the way to 10. But the last movie that I could think of that it reminded me of was Neon Demon by Nicholas Winding Refn, the guy who made Drive and Only God Forgives, and Bronson, whatever the fuck is that? Is that the name of the movie? Yeah, Bronson. He made Bronson. But yeah, no, it's similar to the soundtracks, because in the Neon Demon, since this movie's been out for a while, I'm gonna spoil it. If you haven't seen Neon Demon, then skip ahead. But basically, this new woman comes in to model, and all these other models are so fucking jealous of her, and they basically fucking try to eat her to be her, and that kind of reminded me of The Substance. The Substance did it in very different ways, with this actual substance that makes you like that. But in this case, it was more cannibals, necrophilia. Yeah, that shit happens in there, dude. It's a fucking wild ass movie. But in the soundtrack with it reminded me of, it's like these soundtracks remind me of walking into an H&M store. H&M has these songs playing all the time in their stores. Like, they have it's just like walking runway shows, like it's just fashion models and shit. Like that's the kind of music they play, and that's what it reminded me of, and was Neon Demon. It has to be the most similar movie I think for the whole thing, because it does reference Stanley Kubrick with The Shining, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Alien, in my opinion at least. I mean, it seems like it's kind of upfront with that too, but it doesn't. They're not similar movies, of course, because all those movies are way fucking different. I guess Alien would probably be pretty similar to it as well, a little bit, with the just coming out of the bodies and stuff. But not even that though. That's just the only thing that they're similar in. But the Neon Demon is probably the most similar movie to The Substance I think that I can think of right now. It's a very, it's very similar. It's very similar. But I'm at my last thing here I wanted to say about it, and it's my only negative I had, is that I wanted more. So that's not really a negative because it's a positive. I just wanted more. I just wanted to continue watching. If this movie was 5 hours long, I would not have been disappointed. Just I wanted to see more switches, some more of like different creatures, different monsters coming out. Like it's just a slow decrease into what actually it became. Demi Moore's character may be getting, just slowly getting it, but like the way it happened, I'm very happy with the way the movie came out. But like I said, I would not have complained if the movie was 5 hours long and it just kept on doing switches and just kept on doing these different fucking scenes and scenarios and stuff. So but yeah, this movie was very, very well paced. It did not feel like 2 hours and 21 minutes. It felt like an hour and 45, maybe hour and a half, dude. It did not feel long at all. At least the first time I watched it, but now that I've seen it before, like I know when the scenes are coming, so kind of like waiting for it made it a little bit longer this time. But even then though, it was still very, it's not like fast paced like Breaking Bad is, where it's just right away it just comes at you with like a fucking, just like, okay, what's going on here? He's in a trailer, he's in an RV, he's running from somebody, what the hell is going on? But in this movie it starts off with an egg, and it shows like it reproducing when it was injected with a substance, and it's a very good opening, I thought, a very, very wonderful, clever opening. But yeah, no, but it doesn't start off slow. If that makes sense, how it's with the Breaking Bad, it starts off like super fast and you never get a chance to take a break on Breaking Bad. Like, I don't know why they call it Breaking Bad when there's no fucking breaks. It's just constantly fucking something bad's happening. Like that was my biggest gripe with Breaking Bad, is that there's never a point where you can just sit down and go, it's just motherfucker, oh my god, blah, 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 meth, crack, I don't know, whatever the fuck. There's no crack in the show, but well, was there? Maybe there was crack in the show at some point, maybe for like an episode. I don't remember, but it was all meth. I don't know why I said crack, but it just, yeah, you get what I'm saying. Like it's just all in your face right there. But yeah, no, with this movie, very well paced, not too fast. It just kept it keeps piling on, and it gets stronger, weirder, stranger, more fucked up as the movie goes on, as the movie progresses. And the final 20 minutes, like I said, is some of the craziest shit you'll ever see in a movie in this day and age, dude. You will not get a movie like that in a while. And that's why if it's in a theater near you, please go watch it, dude. Please. It is such a wonderful film. And I think a lot of women will appreciate this movie, as, most beauty standards are done for women, which, women have to shave their armpits, wear makeup, do whatever the fuck to them to make them look good. But why? Why do they have to do that? Because men told them to. That's why. And I think that's why this movie will speak to them and actually make them maybe horrified, because they will see that, like, how objectified these women actually are and how fucked up it is in society that they really are like that. And this movie does a really good job at conveying that, but it doesn't overstay its welcome. I remembered it this time. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's not like just like fucking, all right, this is going to be a big feminist movie. We're going to be like a Me Too movement. Like, no, it's not anything like that. It's just like, it's you just got to see it for yourself, guys. You just got to see it for yourself. And if you're squeamish around like gore and stuff, I don't recommend it, I guess. You probably wouldn't be able to handle it. If you get sick easily, I would not buy any meals. I would maybe drink if you had the chance. I was sober for both. Well, no, no, I wasn't. I wasn't sober the first time. I had a couple beers before I went in, and then this time I had two course banquets. So both times, I mean, that's not. Maybe just a little bit tipsy I was, but I wasn't. I was sober by the end of the movie. I was sober in the middle of the fucking. That movie sobered me up. The movie will sober you the fuck up. So yeah, wow, we got here 49 minutes. I knew this movie would be a long review because this movie is just so fucking awesome, and I just wanted to talk about it, get off my chest. And I might talk more about it with Vivek on the next Tripsters podcast because I want to hear his thoughts on it, and then we can mix our thoughts together. It would be very interesting to do. But hey, go watch this movie, guys. I can't recommend it enough. I'd rather you pay money to see this than see that Joker Folie Adu piece of shit. Because why would you support that movie when you can see a movie like this that's actually fucking well made and actually wanted to be made? I mean, Todd Phillips, did it on purpose, I'm assuming, to make just because he didn't want to make it, so he did whatever the fuck, and so he didn't have to make another one. Probably that's probably why he did that. So shout out to him, for making it like ass on purpose, but he's still like, fuck you. See this movie. See The Substance. It's only gonna be in theaters for a little bit, probably, but I don't know. With the word of mouth, it might stay in theaters for a while. It might come back to other theaters. Like it might have had limited release. It might not. It might have started off a little bit slow, maybe, but now that people are talking about it, it's the number one popular movie on IMDb. I think it might be in theaters for a little bit, guys. So if you have the chance, go see it. It'll probably be on streaming pretty soon. So you don't need to be in the theaters for this movie, but I just want you guys to give money to these companies to make movies like this, because there could be more body horror movies like this if we all chip in and start paying money for these movies to come out, because I want to see more body horror. I want to see more horror like this, where it's a perfect blend of comedy, horror, drama, thriller, all mixed in one. They never mixed the genres terribly. It was all mixed together perfectly in this movie, and it was amazing. There's one terrifying scene in the movie that it's nothing. There's no body horror in that scene. It's a scene where, like, a realization scene at the diner, where she comes across another guy that did the substance, and it was another character that we were introduced to before, earlier in the movie, before she even knew about the substance. And that scene was kind of like a terrifying existential dread, like, oh shit, you have fucked up, just like how The Fly is like there's no going back. When The Fly entered the machine, and so did Jeff Goldblum. So like there's once you generate into this, there's no going back from it. You'll slowly become The Fly, and that's kind of what this movie becomes. It kind of becomes, well, that's another movie it compares to, The Fly. The Fly, it keeps on getting worse and worse for Jeff Goldblum until he becomes a full-fledged fucking fly, fly creature, something, it's fly creature, human, whatever the fuck. But yeah, it's kind of like that. But anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope I hope you guys see this movie. I just really want you guys to see. I gave it a 10 out of 10.